Hello guys, this is Chen. Today we're gonna go over why you should invest in mobile home park. The number one reason, it's low cost per unit. Usually nowadays, obviously because as more people wanted to invest in mobile home park, the price has increased a lot. But you are still able to find mobile home parks between probably $20,000 to $50,000 per unit, depending on where you're buying it. Obviously, the cities and areas that's closer to metropolitan area is going to be more expensive, and the cities and areas that's a little further away from the center of the major city is going to be cheaper. Nowadays, let's say if you buy something nearby Houston, you can still probably, let's say if we're talking about within 10 miles of Houston, you can still probably get each unit between $30,000 to $50,000, but you probably need to look really hard for it. And if you willing to go further away, maybe you're still able to find something that's maybe close to $20,000 per unit. So the per unit cost is very good because usually, let's talk about rent, because usually per space rent in the, let's say about 10 miles radius of Houston, you're looking at probably at least 500 to 1,000. If you are looking at going further away, maybe you're looking at anywhere from 300 to 500 per space for the space rent. I'm talking about the tenant owns the home and you only rent them the space. So if you look at it that way, if you can get a space for $20,000 and if you can rent for $400 to $500, that's a really good return, right? You're looking at least 10%, because let's say if you're leasing $500 per spot or $400 per spot, and if you cut half as expense, then that means you get $200,000 and $200 per month per rent, $200 rent per month, and if you can get it for $20,000 per space, that's a huge return, right? You're looking at at least $2,400 a month. I mean a year, $2,400 a year, and you're buying it for $20,000 per space, and you are looking at much higher, more than 10% return cap rate per spot. So that's why it's really good idea to invest in mobile home park, because the low cost per unit, versus if you had to, let's say if you needed to generate $1,000 in rent per unit, if you're buying a condo or house, you're looking to pay at least probably $100,000, right, for the condo. Okay, the number two reason is low cost of repair and maintenance, because most of the time, I mean, sometimes the tenant own the home, sometimes the landlord own the home. So that's why if you want to buy a mobile home park, if you want to manage a mobile home park, you want to make sure you sell the home to the tenant. That way you don't have to do the repairs. That way you only have to take care of the infrastructure, the water line, the sewer system. So anytime if the home break down, if the home become needs repair, it's not your problem, it's the tenant's problem, because the tenant owns the home, right? So that's gonna significantly decrease your cost of maintenance. Another reason that you want to invest in mobile home park is because of the low risk. Let's say if you own a single family home, even if you bought it for like $100,000, if the tenant left, then you would be left without income, right? Let's say if you bought a mobile home park also with $100,000, maybe you have, depending on where you buy it, maybe you have 5 units or 2 units in it. Let's say if you have 5 units, if just one of the tenants left, you still have 4 other tenants helping you to pay for pay you the rent. So it's much lower risk. And also it's very high demand, because as American gets more and more baby boomers, the people that are retired, they're living on fixed paycheck, usually on Social Security, and the amount that Social Security pay is not a whole lot, right? Depending on where you live, sometimes it may be 500, sometimes it may be 700, sometimes it may be 1,000. So let's say if you're talking about $1,000, these baby boomers, if they only have $1,000 in Social Security retirement, mobile home is really the only option they have, right? Let's say if they go rent an apartment and they're gonna pay $700, they only have $300 left for their other expenses. Let's say if they go rent a mobile home, maybe they'll have to pay, let's say, $500 a month, and then suddenly they have $200 more they can spend, right? They have $500 in total they can spend for their food or for their, this other spending. So that's why the demand is getting higher and higher, because we're getting more and more people that are retiring. And also there's low turnover, because although the name says a mobile home, but usually once the home gets into the park, it doesn't really move again, because it costs a lot of money to move the mobile home. It takes usually at least somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 to move the mobile home to another park. So that's why usually when somebody buys it, it's very unlikely they will move it. So that makes the turnover very low, because they stay there, then they're not gonna move, because if they want to move, they have to pay a lot of money to remove the home. So another reason you want to purchase mobile home park is because there's relatively lesser competition, because most of the big institutions they're not looking into this investment segment. So it's still predominantly owned by mom and pop. So there's less competition, meaning that it's easier to purchase. I would not say it's easy, it's easier, because nowadays because all the media, so mobile home has continually become more popular. So more and more investors came into the space. Okay, that's it today. So this is Chen. So thank you for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon. Until next time.